The twin suns of Nova Terra hung low in the orange sky, painting the new human colony in warm colors. The air was thin and dry, filled with the smell of metal and dust. Long silver buildings stretched across the horizon, and beyond them, green domes shimmered with life support systems. Humanity had come far from Earth, but some things had not changed. Rules, property lines, and endless arguments about land ownership. Liam stood at the edge of his leased area, a small smile on his face. He was a quiet man, not too young and not too old, with steady hands and patient eyes. He had traveled to Nova Terra 15 years ago, long before the first colony roads were paved. When he arrived, this whole region was just rock and dust. Now it was worth millions of credits, and half the settlement depended on his water wells and solar grid. Next to him walked Mira, his assistant and friend. She was younger, curious, and full of ideas. She carried a tablet filled with survey maps. "Sir," she said softly, "the HOA team is building new shelters near the South Ridge again." Liam raised an eyebrow. "On my side?" "Yes," she replied. "Exactly 200 meters inside your lease zone." Liam sighed. He knew who was behind it. There was always one person in every human community who believed they knew better than everyone else. On Nova Terra, that person was Hera, a senior member of the local homeowners association, the Interstellar HOA. She had strict rules for everything: how tall fences could be, how people should paint their domes, even how much light they could use at night. Hera called it order. Most settlers called it trouble. Liam and Mira drove their rover to the South Ridge. As they approached, they saw workers in white suits setting up a new structure. At the center stood Hera herself, tall, sharp-faced, and clearly in charge. She was giving orders with quick, firm gestures. Liam parked the rover and stepped out. "Good morning, Hera," he said politely. "I didn't expect to see new construction here." Hera turned quickly, her eyes narrowing. "What are you doing here, Liam?" "This area is HOA property. You're trespassing." Mira froze. Liam's calm smile didn't fade. "Actually," he said, "this is still part of my leased land. Section E14 through E18. I just came to see the progress." "That's nonsense," Hera shouted, her voice echoing across the empty plain. "This zone belongs to the community project. You can't just claim it." Liam took out his data pad and showed her the official holographic lease. The blue light glowed between them. "You see this line?" he said gently. "That's the boundary. The HOA leases this area from me. You're building on the edge of it." Hera didn't even look at the map. "Those records are outdated. The HOA voted last cycle to expand this zone. Did you update the lease?" Liam asked. Hera crossed her arms. "We don't need your permission to manage community land." "But you're managing leased land," Liam said patiently. "And I'm the lessor." Hera's face turned red. "I don't care who you think you are. You can't come here and tell me how to run the HOA." Mira whispered, "Sir, maybe we should leave and check the central records first." But Liam shook his head. "No need, I trust my data. Let's just keep it civil." He turned back to Hera. "I'm not here to fight. I just want to make sure everything stays legal." "We can solve this easily." Hera pointed toward his rover. "Leave this area now or I'll report you for violation of colony rules." Liam blinked, surprised by her tone. "Violation?" he repeated. "I built this ridge's foundation before the HOA even existed. That doesn't matter anymore," she snapped. "This belongs to the community." "The community leases it from me," Liam said again, his voice still calm. "If the lease ends, the HOA loses its rights to operate here." Her eyes widened. "You're lying," he smiled faintly. "Check the records." Hera turned to one of her assistants. "Get the registry files," she barked. The assistant, a nervous young man, hurried off to the communication post. For a moment there was silence except for the wind. Mira broke the tension by scanning the area with her tablet. "Sir," she said quietly, "there's interference in the signal. The boundary beacon isn't sending a clear reading." "Interference?" Liam asked. "Yes, maybe something under the surface is blocking it." He looked down at the ground, hard, cracked soil mixed with traces of crystal. The colony had found strange mineral layers here before, leftovers of an ancient civilization that once lived on Nova Terra. The old technology sometimes confused scanners. Liam turned back to Hera. "The signal is weak. That's probably why your system thinks the line moved." That's an excuse, she said sharply. You just want to claim more land. Why would I build more when I already lease half of your base? Liam asked softly. The only reason the HOA exists here is because I allowed it. Hera glared at him. For a moment she seemed unsure, but then she lifted her chin. Until I see proof from central control this area belongs to the HOA. Leave now. Liam sighed. Very well, he said, but I'll bring the original lease tomorrow. And when I do, we'll settle this once and for all. Without another word, he turned and walked back to his rover with Mira. As they drove away, Mira asked, Why didn't you just show her the complete file? She wouldn't listen, Liam replied. Some people only believe when they're proven wrong in front of others. Mira smiled. That's true, but what if the interference really changed the data? Liam looked out the window at the shimmering horizon. Then we'll find out. I don't like mysteries under my land. That night, back at his main base, Liam sat at his desk. The soft hum of machines filled the air. He opened the full records on his terminal. Blue holograms floated above the table. Maps, numbers, and contract details. Everything was clear. He was the legal lessor of the Ridge area, and the HOA paid monthly fees for using it. Yet something strange appeared at the bottom of the file, a faint distortion as if the data had been touched by unknown code. Mira entered quietly. Sir, the beacon at the Ridge stopped transmitting completely, she said. It's not just interference. Something's blocking it, Liam frowned. What could block a beacon that strong? She hesitated. Maybe something under the ground? He nodded slowly. Then that's where we'll look next. Outside, the wind howled across the colony domes. In the distance, faint blue lights flickered under the ridge, deep beneath the soil. Something old, something not human. Liam didn't see it yet, but soon he would. And the truth waiting under his land would change everything. About the HOA, the colony, and even Nova Terra itself. Morning came quietly over Nova Terra. The twin suns rose from the horizon, turning the sand silver and gold. The colony domes reflected the light like small stars, and the wind carried the soft hum of solar generators. Liam stood near the observation deck of his base, drinking a warm cup of synthetic tea. He looked calm, but his mind was busy. He had spent half the night checking the lease documents again. Everything was in perfect order. The HOA had no right to claim the South Ridge. Yet the small distortion in the file bothered him. Something had changed deep in the digital records. Something strange and old. Mira entered the room with her data tablet. Sir, she said, I've called the colony registrar. They'll send a record copy today, but the beacon is still silent. Liam nodded slowly. Then we'll handle both problems. One legal, one technical. Mira smiled nervously. And what about Hera? Liam looked out the window. I'm sure she hasn't calmed down, but truth doesn't need to shout. By mid-morning, Liam and Mira drove back to the South Ridge. Dust flew behind their rover like a silver cloud. As they approached, they saw a large crowd near the new construction site. HOA workers stood in a line, their white uniforms shining under the suns. At the front, Hara stood with a digital megaphone in her hand, giving loud orders. When she saw Liam's rover, she frowned. There he is, she shouted. The trespasser returns. Liam stepped out, calm as ever. Good morning, everyone, he said politely. I've brought the original lease documents. Hera crossed her arms. You mean those fake files you made last night? Liam raised his hand. No, Hera. These are certified by the Central Registry. He pressed a button on his pad and a large blue hologram appeared in the air. It showed the colony map, marked clearly with boundary lines. Everyone could see that the ridge zone belonged to Liam and was leased to the HOA. The workers began whispering. Hera's face turned red. This can't be right, she said. The HOA expansion was approved. Approved by your vote, Liam said quietly. But not by the land office. You expanded without renewing the lease. That means you built outside your rights. One of the HOA assistants, a young man named Rin, raised his hand. Ms. Hara, he's correct. The registry confirms it. Hara turned on him. Silence. I'll handle this. Then she glared at Liam. You think you can embarrass me in front of everyone? I'll file a complaint to the colony board. Liam smiled politely. You may, But before you do, I suggest you fix your records. Your system is reading wrong coordinates. Hera blinked. What do you mean? Your scanners think the boundary moved, he said, but my beacon shows no movement. Something underground is disturbing your network. That's ridiculous, Hera snapped. Nothing under this ground except rock. Mira stepped forward. We scanned last night. There's an unknown layer below, maybe old alien tech. It's creating signal distortion. A silence fell over the group. Even the wind seemed to stop for a moment. Everyone on Nova Terra had heard stories of ancient alien ruins buried under the surface. The colony had built most of its systems over what they called silent zones. Hera frowned. You're just trying to confuse us. Aliens, signals, it's all excuses. Liam sighed. Then allow me to prove it. Mira, run the deep scan. Mira nodded and pressed a button on her tablet. A small drone lifted into the air, spinning softly. Blue light beamed down into the ground, scanning deeper and deeper. After a minute, the tablet buzzed and showed a glowing image. Under the ridge, about 50 meters down, was a large metallic shape, round, covered in symbols no one could read. The workers gasped. It's real, Rin whispered. Something is under us. Liam pointed to the hologram. This is what's causing your signal problem. The beacon can't mark boundaries properly because the alien tech bends energy fields. Hera looked unsure for the first time. But why would it matter for land ownership? Because your scanners think the land moved, Liam said. But in truth, the system is confused. That's why your database shows my lease as invalid. Mira added. The interference also explains why your expansion plans didn't register with the main office. The signals never reached them. The group started murmuring again. Some workers looked worried. Others seemed excited. Alien discoveries were rare and usually valuable. Hera bit her lip. She didn't want to admit defeat, but the evidence was clear. Even if there is something underground, she said finally, it's still within HOA limits. That makes it our property. Liam shook his head. You can't claim what you don't own. The lease still stands. Her voice rose again. You just want to take credit for everything. I want the truth, Liam replied calmly, and to protect this colony from possible danger. That object is old and active. If it reacts, none of us will be safe. Hera hesitated. She looked at her team. They were already backing away from the ridge, unsure of what lay beneath. Fine, she said coldly. We'll let the colony science unit check it. But until then, you are forbidden from entering this site. Liam gave a small nod. Agreed. Safety first. He turned to leave, but before stepping into the rover, he looked back. Hera, one more thing. When the science team comes, they'll confirm my claim. You might want to prepare an apology for your board. Hera's face hardened. Don't get too proud, Liam. The HOA doesn't forget insults. Liam smiled softly. And the truth doesn't fear anger. That evening, back at the base, Mira and Liam reviewed the scan data again. The image of the buried structure glowed on the screen like a sleeping giant. The lines on its surface formed patterns that almost looked like writing. It's beautiful, Mira whispered. Maybe it's a power core, or a communication device, or both, Liam said quietly. We'll wait for the science unit tomorrow, but we must prepare. If that thing wakes up, we'll need to control it. Mira nodded. Do you think Hera will cooperate? She'll try to control it, Liam said simply, but we'll make sure it doesn't harm anyone. The lights in the room dimmed as the power grid adjusted for night mode. Outside, the twin suns had set and the stars of the Milky Way filled the sky like rivers of fire. Nova Terra was calm for now, but under the ground, something ancient stirred faintly, sending small waves through the sensors. Liam felt the tremor under his boots. It's waking, he murmured. Mira looked at him in surprise. Should we alert the colony? Not yet, he said. If we panic now, the HOA will take control. We'll study it first. He turned off the hologram and looked out at the dark ridge in the distance. Tomorrow everything will change. The next morning promised more than sunlight. Colony alerts began to flash on screens across Nova Terra. Unidentified energy readings detected near Ridge Sector E14. The colony science unit was on its way. And so was Hara, with new plans and stronger intentions. Liam smiled slightly. "Let her come," he said to Mira. "We'll show them how humans deal with truth. With patience, not power." The colony was buzzing with news the next day. Word spread quickly. An ancient alien structure had been found under the South Ridge. Everyone wanted to see it. The colony board sent a small science unit, while the HOA prepared to claim credit. Liam stood near the ridge early in the morning, looking at the dig site from a distance. His rover was parked beside him, and Mira was checking the scanner again. The air shimmered with a strange warmth. Even the wind seemed to hum softly, like it carried energy through the ground. Mira frowned. "Sir, the readings are stronger today. Whatever's under there, it's not sleeping anymore." Liam looked at the ground. "Then we must be careful. This land has a secret older than our colony." In the distance, dust rose as 2 colony transporters approached. The first carried the science unit, 3 researchers and a team of drones. The second brought the HOA delegation, with Hera leading them. She stepped down proudly as if she owned the whole planet. Liam greeted her calmly. "Morning, Hera," she gave a tight smile. "Don't think this discovery makes you important. The HOA is still in charge of colony affairs." Liam nodded politely. "I'm only interested in the truth. Whoever finds it, we all benefit." The science team's leader, Dr. Nilo, was a thin man with kind eyes and a soft voice. "Let's begin the excavation," he said. "Our scanners confirm a metallic structure below. We'll use drones to expose a small section." Within an hour, 4 digging drones began to work. The soil here was dry and tough, but the machines dug quickly, sending dust into the air. Slowly, a round silver surface appeared, smooth as glass and shining with faint blue lines. Mira whispered, "It looks alive." The scientists gathered around, taking readings. The structure was cold at first, then slowly warmed as sunlight touched it. A low vibration started beneath their feet. Dr. Nilo looked amazed. "This metal reacts to energy. It's drawing power from the suns." Liam watched closely. "Can you shut it down?" The doctor shook his head. "It's not dangerous yet. Let's observe." But Hara stepped forward, speaking loudly so everyone could hear. "This is clearly HOA property. We'll take charge of the study. Our equipment will be stored here, and no one enters without permission." Dr. Nilo looked uncertain. "Ma'am, with respect, this is a science matter, not political." Hera glared at him. "It's on HOA land." Liam stepped forward, his tone still calm. "Correction, it's under leased land. The lease belongs to me, which means until the board rules otherwise, I control access." Hera's eyes flashed with anger. "You just want to take our discovery." "No," Liam said simply. "I want to keep people safe. You don't understand what's below. Look at the readings, it's active now." Before Hera could reply, one of the drones beeped sharply. Its light turned red. Mira looked at her screen. "Sir, the structure is sending energy pulses." "It's scanning us!" Everyone stepped back. A beam of soft blue light rose from the surface like a column of glass reaching into the sky. It made no sound, but every electronic device nearby flickered. For a moment, Liam felt his body tremble, not from fear, but from the strange vibration in the air. Dr. Nilo shouted, "All drones retreat!" The drones flew back quickly. The blue light faded, but small symbols began to glow on the metal. Curved lines and circles shimmered in patterns that looked almost like writing. Mira whispered, "It's communication." Liam nodded. "Yes, it's trying to talk." Hera folded her arms. "Nonsense. It's just reacting to sunlight." "You're making up stories," Dr. Nilo frowned. "No, ma'am. It's sending signals in a pattern. This isn't random." "It's intelligent," the crowd murmured. Everyone could feel something powerful in the air, something ancient and awake. Liam looked at the glowing symbols. "If it's trying to communicate, maybe it wants us to respond. Mira, send a low-frequency pulse, just one signal. Match its rhythm," she hesitated. "What if it reacts badly?" Liam smiled slightly. "Then we'll learn faster." She sent the pulse. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the metal surface rippled like water. A bright circle opened in the center, showing a projection of stars. The pattern formed a map, systems, routes, and glowing dots connecting in long lines. Dr. Nilo gasped. "This is a star map." "These dots, these are nearby systems." Mira's eyes widened. Sir, it's showing a route from Nova Terra to somewhere else. Liam studied the projection carefully. Maybe this place was once a gateway or navigation post. The aliens used it to travel. Hera stepped closer, still stubborn. Then it belongs to the HOA and we'll profit from it. Liam turned his eyes to her. You can't profit from something you don't understand. It's not a tool. It's history. The symbols on the structure changed again, glowing brighter. Suddenly, the energy pulse increased. All devices in the area shut off. The hologram flickered and vanished. Everyone back! Liam shouted. The surface cracked open slightly, releasing a gust of cold air and a faint hum. The colony's power grid flashed unstable for a moment, then stabilized again. Dr. Nilo looked worried. It's absorbing power from the colony network. We must cut the connection. Do it, Liam ordered. Now. Mira pressed commands on her pad and the power link disconnected. The glowing lines on the structure dimmed slowly until only faint light remained. The hum faded, silence filled the air. The scientist stood still, breathing hard. Hera looked pale but tried to sound confident. It's fine. It's not dangerous. We'll just store it, Liam shook his head. You can't store a living structure, Hera. It responds to energy. If you try to move it, it could activate again. Hera crossed her arms but said nothing. Dr. Nilo approached Liam. You handled that well. Without your warning, we might have lost control. The HOA system almost overloaded. Liam nodded. We need to study it deeper, but carefully. No greed, no rush, Mira smiled. Maybe it's waiting for the right kind of mind to understand it. Liam looked at her thoughtfully. Maybe. Humanity came here thinking we were just settlers. But maybe we were meant to wake this up. The suns began to set, painting the ridge with gold and violet light. The alien metal shimmered softly like a sleeping ocean. The workers began packing up equipment, still whispering about what they had seen. Hera walked away without another word, her pride shaken. For the first time, she didn't argue. Mira stood beside Liam. Sir, what do you think this means for us? It means, he said quietly, that this land holds more than any rule or title. It holds knowledge. And knowledge doesn't belong to one person, it belongs to everyone, she smiled. Still, you were right about everything, Liam chuckled softly. I didn't want to be right. I just wanted the truth to show itself. As they returned to their rover, Liam looked back once more. The ridge glowed faintly in the dusk. He could almost feel the structure's presence in his mind, as if it was watching him too. He whispered, We'll keep your secret, old friend. But one day we'll learn your story. That night, the colony slept under calm skies, but under the ridge, small lights began to move again, slow, steady, and purposeful. The alien structure was not just a machine. It was something far greater. And Liam, the quiet man who once argued about land, had just become the guardian of humanity's next great discovery. The next morning, Nova Terra woke under a bright sky, but the air felt heavy. Strange waves of energy were spreading from the south ridge. Colony machines flickered and power grids showed small drops every few minutes. Something underground was waking again. Liam stood near his base window, watching the ridge in the distance. The metal under the soil was glowing faintly even in daylight. He had expected this. The alien structure had been quiet for only a short time. It was reacting to the human power systems again. Mira entered with a worried look. Sir, the science unit says the object's energy is increasing fast. They think it's charging itself. Liam turned to her. Did they try to stop it? They're trying, she said, but Hera has taken control of the site. She ordered them to use HOA equipment to seal the structure. They're building shields around it, Liam frowned. That's the worst thing she could do. If the structure feels trapped, it may defend itself. Mira nodded. Should we go there? Yes, he said firmly. If this continues, the whole colony could lose power. Within the hour, Liam and Mira drove their rover to the ridge. The site was now full of activity. The HOA had placed tall metal panels around the structure, creating a half-built cage. Workers rushed everywhere, connecting power cables and installing control systems. The alien surface was glowing brighter beneath the panels, almost like it was breathing. Hera stood at the center, shouting instructions. Raise the shields. Double the energy input. Liam stepped out of the rover and called out, Stop! You're making it worse. Hera turned sharply. You again? This is HOA business. You have no authority here. I have more authority than you think, Liam said calmly. This land still belongs to me. And that structure is reacting to your machines. Shut them down before someone gets hurt. Hara's face hardened. We're stabilizing it. Once the shield is complete, we'll control the energy output and claim it for the colony. You're just afraid we'll succeed without you. I'm afraid you'll destroy everything, Liam said quietly. Dr. Nilo, standing nearby, hurried over to Liam. His face was pale. She won't listen. The readings are off the chart. The structure is pulling power faster than the generators can supply. Liam looked at the glowing panels. It's not pulling power, it's feeding on it. Like a sponge. It's trying to wake fully. Before they could react, a loud sound echoed through the ridge, a deep hum that shook the ground. The air around them shimmered. The metal panels bent slightly as if pressed from within. Then a bright blue beam shot upward from the ground, cutting through the sky. Everyone ducked. The beam was silent but powerful. Dust flew into the air and small stones rolled across the ground. Hera screamed, "Turn it off! Turn it off!" The workers tried to cut the cables, but their tools stopped working. The air was charged with static. Sparks jumped from metal to skin, harmless but frightening. Mira shouted, "Sir, the structure is generating its own power field. It's not using colony energy anymore." Liam's mind raced. He looked at the control boards and shouted to the workers, "Disconnect the main generator. Pull every power link out." No one moved until Liam ran forward himself. He grabbed the nearest control lever and pulled it down. The hum dropped slightly. Seeing him act, others followed. Soon all power cables were removed. The beam dimmed slowly, then stopped. The ground went silent again, except for the soft sound of wind. Everyone breathed out in relief. Hara stood still, looking both angry and shaken. "You nearly destroyed everything with your interference," she shouted. Liam turned toward her. "You were seconds away from losing the colony. That thing isn't a tool, it's a reactor. It was waking up because you fed it too much energy." Dr. Nilo nodded. "He's right. It wasn't attacking us. It was reacting to your shield's power. We almost caused an overload." Hera glared at them both. "So now what? You expect me to just walk away from this? This could make our colony rich." Liam sighed. "Rich? If we're not careful, it could also make us extinct." Mira added softly, "We can study it, but with respect, not control." Hera crossed her arms and looked around. Many of her workers were nodding in agreement with Liam. She realized she was losing her support. Her voice softened, though her pride didn't fade. "Fine," she said coldly. "But if anything goes wrong, it's on you." Liam nodded. "I'll take that risk." By evening, the workers had stopped all activity. The scientists set up small scanners at a safe distance. The alien structure glowed faintly now, calm and stable. The strange symbols on its surface had changed again. Now they formed patterns that looked like waves of light, peaceful and slow. Dr. Nilo studied the readings. "The energy output is steady. It's almost as if it's breathing," Mira smiled. "It feels alive." Liam stood beside her, watching the light. "Maybe it knows we've stopped fighting it." Hara remained silent, standing a few meters away. For the first time, she looked uncertain, not angry. The sunset painted her face with soft colors. "Do you think it understands us?" she asked quietly. Liam nodded slowly. "In some way, yes. It knows we're here. It knows we woke it," she sighed. "And now what do we do?" Liam looked at the sky where the blue beam had once risen. "We learn, slowly, carefully. This planet is new to us, but it's old to something else. We're just visitors here." Mira turned to him. "So we protect it?" He smiled faintly. "Exactly. We protect it, and it will protect us." That night, the colony sky was filled with calm lights again. The power grids returned to normal. People spoke in quiet voices about the event, some afraid, others filled with wonder. For the first time, the colony board sent a message of thanks to Liam for preventing disaster. In his base, Liam sat by the window with Mira watching the stars. "You handled it well," she said. He shook his head. "No, I just listened. Sometimes things older than us only need someone to listen instead of control." Mira smiled. "Even Hera listened today." Liam chuckled. "That might be the greatest miracle of all." They laughed softly. Outside, the ridge glowed faintly once more like a sleeping guardian. The alien structure's lights pulsed slowly, matching the rhythm of the colony's own power grid, as if they were in harmony now. The next morning, a message arrived from the colony board. They had reviewed all the data and confirmed that Liam's lease was still valid. The HOA's expansion was officially suspended until further study. Mira read the message aloud, smiling. "Congratulations, sir. You're officially the man who leases land to the HOA and saved the colony." Liam laughed quietly. "I didn't plan to be a hero. I just wanted peace." He looked out the window toward the ridge where the alien metal reflected the morning light. "But sometimes," he said softly, "peace comes when we understand what we almost destroyed." Mira nodded. "So what's next?" "We rebuild," Liam said, not with fear but with respect for this planet, for the past, and for each other. As the twin suns rose higher, the colony came alive again. The people of Novaterra had faced something greater than rules or ownership. They had learned that true strength wasn't in control but in understanding. And in that quiet lesson, humanity had taken one more small but meaningful step forward. Weeks passed quietly on Novaterra. The twin suns shone warmly over the new colony, and for the first time in many months, everything felt peaceful. The fields near the ridge were green again. Machines worked without error, and the people were calm. Liam stood outside his base one early morning looking toward the distant ridge. The alien structure still glowed softly under the soil like a sleeping star. It no longer hummed or pulsed wildly. Instead, it sent out gentle waves of light that matched the rhythm of the planet's wind. Mira joined him, holding a cup of hot drink. "It feels peaceful now," she said softly. Liam nodded. "It's different. The whole planet feels different. It's like the world took a deep breath and decided to rest." Mira smiled. "Maybe it trusts us now." Liam chuckled. "Maybe." They stood in silence for a moment. Birds that had never been seen before flew above the ridge, blue wings shining in the morning sun. The colony sensors showed signs of growing life. It was as if the land itself had awakened with them. Later that day, a small group from the colony board arrived by shuttle. Their leader, Mr. Tarrant, was a calm man with silver hair and steady eyes. He had come to speak with Liam personally. "Mr. Liam," he began, shaking his hand, "you have done something remarkable. Without your actions, Novaterra might have been lost. The board has reviewed everything, the recordings, the energy data, and even the language patterns found on the alien metal." Liam smiled politely. "It was a team effort. Dr. Nilo and Mira did most of the work." Tarrant shook his head. "You kept everyone calm. You stopped the power surge when no one else could act. You reminded us that ownership doesn't mean control, it means responsibility." Hara, who stood behind Tarrant, lowered her head slightly. She had been quiet since the event at the ridge. Now she stepped forward. "He's right," she said softly. "I was too proud. I thought the colony needed power, but it needed wisdom more." Liam looked at her, surprised but pleased. "We all learned something important," he said kindly. "It's not about who was right or wrong. It's about understanding what this world is trying to tell us." Hera nodded slowly. "I agree. I want to help now. I've already asked the HOA to join your science team. Together we can protect the ridge and study it safely." Mira smiled brightly. "That's a good idea. Unity will make our colony stronger." Tarrant looked at them all and said, "Then it's settled. From now on, the ridge will be a shared research zone. No construction, no mining, no walls. Just learning." Everyone nodded in agreement. Over the next few days, the mood in the colony changed. People from every sector, scientists, builders, and farmers, came together to build a research camp near the ridge. It was simple but strong, designed not to disturb the ground. Children came with their parents to see the glowing surface, whispering about the sleeping light. Dr. Nilo worked day and night studying the signals. He discovered that the structure sent patterns into the sky every evening, like coded waves. They were not dangerous. They were gentle pulses, as if the structure was talking to the stars. One evening, as Liam and Mira watched from their base, the sky lit up again, not with a beam this time, but with thousands of soft blue lines. They curved slowly above the ridge, forming symbols that matched the ones carved on the metal. Mira gasped. "It's communicating again." Liam nodded. "But this time it's calm, it's beautiful." The symbols faded after a few minutes, leaving the night full of stars. Hera walked up behind them quietly. "Dr. Nilo says the light messages match a pattern of welcome. Maybe it's greeting something or someone." Liam looked thoughtful. "Or maybe it's greeting us. Saying it knows we're not enemies." Hera smiled faintly. If so, that's the first alien neighbor we've ever made peace with. Mira laughed softly. Let's hope it's not the last. Months passed. Nova Terra became known across human space as the planet of harmony. Scientists from other colonies came to study the ridge. None tried to control it. They all respected it, following Liam's rules. The colony grew not through force but through trust. People worked side by side without fights or pride. Even the HOA, once known for its strict rules, became more flexible and kind under Hera's new leadership. One evening, during the colony's anniversary celebration, Liam was invited to speak in front of everyone. The entire community gathered under the stars. Children held glowing lanterns and adults listened quietly as the wind moved gently across the field. Liam stepped up to the platform. His voice was calm but strong. When I first came here, he began, I thought this land was mine because I leased it. But this planet taught me something different. It taught me that no one can truly own life or land. We can only take care of it. He looked around at the crowd. We tried to control something we didn't understand. And when we stopped fighting it, it didn't destroy us, it saved us. That is the real strength of humanity, not in conquering but in listening. The people nodded, silent but moved. Even Hera wiped a small tear from her eye. Mira smiled proudly from the front row. Liam continued, if we treat every world with care, every unknown life with respect, then maybe one day when the stars answer back, they will see us not as destroyers but as friends. Everyone clapped softly, their hearts full of peace. As the celebration ended, the ridge glowed again in the distance, brighter than before. The light pulsed gently as if responding to the colony's unity. Dr. Nilo ran up to Liam, breathless. It's sending new patterns. The signal is changing. Liam smiled. Let it. Maybe it's happy. Mira laughed. Happy? He nodded. Yes, maybe it's thanking us. They watched together as the blue glow spread across the horizon, painting the night sky with light. The pattern was simple and beautiful, 3 long waves followed by 1 short pulse. Dr. Nilo smiled. That's the same pattern humans use to send greetings. Mira looked at Liam. So it learned from us? He shrugged, smiling. Or maybe we finally learned from it. The next morning, the colony woke to a peaceful world. The ridge was quiet, the light soft and steady. Birds sang. Machines hummed gently. Liam stood by the window once again, the same spot where everything had begun. Mira stood beside him, holding her notebook. Do you think it will ever speak to us in words? She asked. Maybe not in our words, he said, but it already speaks in its own. We just have to keep listening. Mira smiled. You think humans will ever learn that on every world? Liam looked out at the glowing ridge, his eyes calm. We will, he said softly. 1 world at a time. Behind them, the colony flag waved gently in the morning wind, its new symbol showing a human hand and a glowing wave side by side, a sign of peace between humankind and the unknown. And on the ridge, the alien light pulsed once more, slow and steady, like a heartbeat. It was not the sound of power. It was the sound of understanding.